Hello everyone, I am your host Shani Soni with my co-host Rajni Suba, and we are back with another episode of Let's Talk. And today we have with us a person who has been celebrated for his services not just in India but across the globe. He is a highly decorated officer with many awards in his kitty. To start with, he has President of India Police Medal for Meritorious and Distinguished Services.
Gold Medal of Arunachal Pradesh for meritorious service and distinguished services.
And also, he has been awarded by the UN Peace Medal for Meritorious and Distinguished Services in Bosnia and Kosovo.
With numerous civil awards for social services.
Let's welcome our esteemed guest for today, Mr. Robin Hibu, the additional DGP.
Welcome to the show, sir.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you.
We would like to know about your journey from a small village of Arunachal Pradesh to becoming an additional DGP.
Look, my journey started from a small village called Hong Village, from where at that time there was no water, no electricity. We had to almost cover 8 kilometers to attend the school, and only the school available was Mahatma Gandhi ashram, from where we all had started our basic schooling. And there was only one lady who was Sevika from Guwahati, from Assam, who was teaching us, I would say, all the subject up to class 6. Thereafter, then we all had to struggle, and since there was nothing, I still remember how we used to collect firewood, even carry water for her, and how motivated she was, Such a young lady spent 20 years of her life in that Himalayan village, far, far away from the home. So that has really motivated us. Then thereafter, I passed my high school, higher secondary school, and from local college. Then I came down to JNU, and I got selected for the state civil service. I was the #1 ranker. Then I was not happy. I was NCC cadet also. I had already something in my mind to do something extraordinarily. By God's grace, I will become the first. I become the first to be selected in Indian Police Service. Joined there. I got the Esprit de Corps medal, that is called best trainee of the IAS, IPS and IFS from Missouri, Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration. Then I got my home cadre, so far served in UN, Delhi Police and my state.
Wonderful, sir. So while researching a little about you, we got to know something about your ancestral house, a story that revolves around it. Could you please enlighten us with that?
Right from my childhood, I had this fascination of doing something, paying back to the village, to my state, to my country. After becoming an IPS officer, we have been doing everything within my capacity to help our people. And especially my obsession is the younger generation. Because I believe that if you take care of the younger generation, the future generation will be better. So keeping this thing in mind, in my village, we are surrounded by another 6 villages. The nearest library is around 6 kilometers from the village, and even the hospital. So after becoming an IPS officer, after coming back from the UN deputations, I realized that many of our boys and girls, they are not able to get good books, or they are having no guidance where to go, where to study. Even if you have to go to a district library, you have to spend 10 kilometers. That also, in such a horrible road, passing through a jungle. I still remember when I was in my childhood, we had no provision of library. I used to go to visit the library. While one evening in coming back, I stepped on one snake while coming back. So all those problems that inspire me. Why क्यों ना हम do something so that you can give back something to the society. So I started doing research and analysis how to go about that. I'm happy to tell you that even Rashtrapati Bhavan helped me. All the India's topmost coaching institute, ONGC, they all have Indigo airline, Bistara, they all came forward and they've helped me to set up this library. Now I have more than 22,000 books purely on career guidance, government schemes, and it is not only a library, then even we have a computer training center.
Wow.
So that is, I would say, a focal point for our 6 villages in the China border. Now, apart from that, a lot of boys I have joined, Indian Armed Force, posted in Kashmir, Kanyakumari, Rajasthan, and all other places. So since there is a connectivity problem in the remote area, what BSNL, MTNL they've gave me a WLL, what is called a fixed landline. So where it is a community, mobile booth. So if somebody is from Kashmir or from Rajasthan or from anywhere in India, if they want to call to his mother or to his father or to his wife, they'll wait in that library every evening for 2 hours. They'll get a call. So it has become a multi-purpose, I would say, center for those 8 villages. You are having a library for the school-going children. When I'm making available all the forms for the, for the army, for the navy, for the UPSC, for the state civil service, for the IIT, for the doctors, for engineers, and this has become now a center point for educated people. I have mobilized our educated officers from my state that we used to hold a career guidance for the youths, and now even the Mahatma Gandhi National Museum and Rajghat, they have already approved for setting up a Mahatma Gandhi exhibition center there. So it has become like a more or less like epic center for the what is called educational empowerment of the youth for the tribal villages in the China border. And beside that, that ancestral home, that 4-room, that wooden room, we have converted into a high altitude health clinic. In tie up with the Six Sigma. So what is happening that the diseases, the problem we face it in the extreme cold climate, -10, is something very different from what we see in Delhi or Mumbai. So during in almost 9 months, it's a very cold what is called period. At that time, the requirement of the villages are very different. So what we have done is that with the analysis from the local doctors, what medicines, what kind of diseases our villagers from the tribal they face. So keeping this thing in view, now what do? We collect or donate medicines at Delhi for high altitude, diseases. They will send it through our Rajdhani, and I'm happy to tell you that the Rajdhani train, they carry it for free of cost because it is for the name of Mahatma Gandhi. We have named this library as Mahatma Gandhi Library and Rural Information Center. And that is something I really look forward. And now I'm very happy to tell you that Oyo and the CEO Aditya Ghosh and others, they have all agreed to sponsor the largest statue of Mahatma Gandhi there in front of the library. And Aditya Ghosh, the CEO of the Oyo, has agreed to maintain that library building and that health clinic. So that is something very wonderful, and we are going to have the exhibition of the Mahatma Gandhi 150th centenary celebration. Unfortunately, this pandemic gets started, but we will do that.
Sir, I am telling you, this is extremely inspiring to put your house, your ancestral house, to a use where people can make utmost utilization of that particular place in the best way possible, and it is for the future generations to come forward and learn from there and go ahead and do something like what you have done for your society in your place. And this is incredible, isn't it, Rajni?
One thing I want to tell you, look, what is happening today in India, I feel it, that those who are successful in either in business or in media or in any career or domain, wherever you are working, unfortunately, we tend to forget our root. We forget our village, we forget our state. Most of them want to live in the city life and they forget their own cultural mooring. I feel that instead of lecturing or instead of telling others, then I thought that since I have been greatly influenced by the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, Lal Bahadur Shastri and Bhagat Singh and all those, who have given their life for this country. So that made me thinking, I've set an example for others. And that's what I am now very, what is called, everybody is seeing, yes, instead of lecturing, I am done something what I can do. And this is what I am telling to every, college student. Even I am giving lecture to the IAS, IPS, including the police officer, income tax officer, even the Delhi Administrative, Academy. I say, look, becoming an officer is something that is your achievement. But what have you done to pay back to the place of your birth? Even if you can, I encourage them, even you may not establish a library, but at least sponsored one orphan girls.
Yes.
And when you go back to village, I tell them, ki, yaar, you go back and stay in the village and visit like what I do. Apart from I have a library and health unit, we conduct career guidance, we conduct a medical camp, doctor from AIMS, from Guwahati and others. All villages used to make a whole beeline, with the Sardar Patel Educational Society from what is called Ahmedabad and others. What I am trying to tell is that, look, if you stay in a village, go and see the village school, go and see the village water tank, go and see the village road, go and see the panchayat house, and see the poorest, villagers, and note it down and bring it to the notice of the MLA and to the concerned DM and the department concerned, ki yaar inhe dekho, do something for them. Then it will become like a movement. If every officer, if every businessman, or every media person, if they go back to the village or to their tehsil or to wherever they are, and if they do this small thing, that can create a lot of, I would say, positive change. What our Prime Minister Narendra Modi sir is telling that, Honorable Prime Minister is saying that, look, until and this is what Bapu was saying, Sarvodaya. And this is what I just, as an officer, IPS is something which means to serve my country.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I hope my viewers, they get the message that, no matter wherever you go in life, whatever you achieve, it is always recommended and it is always good to connect with your roots and do something for the people that has helped you, that has helped you go so far and has helped you achieve whatever you have achieved in life. Please stick to your roots, and this is what is going to make you a good human being.
Yes, and I had the privilege of working with Sir for quite some time on the NGO Helping Hands, and because of that, I know that you have been mobilizing a lot of rations for people around in all those corners of India, and then you have been also working on something called Joining the Dots. Sir, I would like you to let us know more about that.
Look, this helping hand is an offshoot of, years of struggling to do something for our people, I would say paying back. So ultimately, what I found that as a lonely officer, it's very difficult to do, and you have got so many civil service rule and other, you can't do beyond certain limit. So then idea came, why not start something legally registered, form an NGO, and get together all those people, like-minded, officers, the entrepreneurs, the successful businessmen, the media persons, lawyers, and others from that Himalaya. Then this idea was floated and everybody liked it. Then we started it in 2016. Of course, 2014 it started. So this is a virtual NGO. It has got, volunteers all over the country. Even in the US and London and even Dubai, we have our members. And I got a message that one of my members is in West Virginia. He's contesting for the governor. Anyway, that's a different issue. So this is basically we do three things in this helping hand. One, we believe and we have seen people from Himalaya, they come down to cities for various reasons, job, education, tourism, business. But many a time, and since India is a diverse country, having all kind of people, so many a time, because of our different social mooring, because of different cultural identity, because of our food habit, because of our not knowing the local language wherever, in Mumbai or Delhi, wherever you are. So there is an inherent disadvantaged position by our people coming from the Himalaya. And unfortunately, many of the lack of awareness, they think as a foreigner, for Chinese or Korea or whatever maybe. Anyway, that's different issue. So this inherent problem has resulted into number one, lack of maladjustment. Number two, many kind of form of exploitations, racism, plus I would say a hopelessness, helplessness, a loneliness in the cities. So which result into suicide, depressions, this and that. So we believe how do we do that? Though there are a police and institution to deal it, but that's not enough. There is a gap because a person from Mumbai or Delhi or Mumbai who have been throughout in Liberian city, they weren't able to understand the problem what I face. Even I too, now today I am a special commissioner, very senior officer. But I too face a problem because many of them, of course, I took it in a positive way. I manage it in my own benefit, and I always have a very broader perspective. That is different view. So this has resulted in all this kind of problem. So this helping hand, this first thing is emergency assistance to any Himalayan folks in cities. Either you have been abandoned, either you have been exploited, or you are a crime victim, or you are, somewhere or other where there is no one. Then our volunteers. And initially, police are there. We connect them emotionally. Daro mat, don't worry, we are with you. We connect them with his or her institution, wherever he or she is studying or working, number one. Number two, connect them back to their community organization. So there's 24 hours. 48 hours is the most critical. And if they need blood, we have a blood bank. We give them blood. If they need emergency money, even we help them. That is for the very rare of the rarest case. We reassure them, don't worry, we will take care of you. So that is one emergency assistance. Second, many of them die, unfortunately, lack of job opportunity back home and entrepreneurship opportunity. That has created a massive internet migration within the country. So as a result, many of our young youth, after so-called skill training and other, they are coming to the cities for earning their livelihood. But many a time their income is very low and they are not able to sustain or maintain their so many a time they, because of poor habit and so many climatical conditions and other, they fell sick and many of them die also. So we have a provision for two things: free burial in the cities, like in the 25 sector in Dwarka. Allow me to bury notice poor people free of cost. If you are Hindu from Assam or Tripura or from any part of the northeast, in Punjabi Bagh cremation, they allow me to do cremation free of cost. We do it, I'm helping hand. Then another graveyard in Burari, we do that. So like that all over the country, we are volunteers. We intervene in the hour of the reckoning, in hour of the where there is no one. That is emergency intervention. Of course, then once the police take over, connected to the community, then we draw back, give them a blood source. But second is, we believe in this helping hand. Since Rajni is also a member, we believe that the youth empowerment is the future of this country. And I believe, because many a time, even many mainland media like you all, you say, why only you are looking after the Northeast? I tell them, look, problem Northeast is very, very unique, very different. And it's very difficult to understand. Imagine, to reach my home, she has been to my village also, it takes 4 days. Because there's no communication. So people coming from there, it's very difficult. So, we believe to bridge this gap, we believe youth empowerment initiative. Like we are getting scholarship for those who are willing to become a IITian or a doctor or a civil servant, or you want to become a bank manager, or so on and so forth. So this CSR fund, money we are getting it from the, like a ONGC, our top coaching center, even NEC, not all organizations, not everybody is good at it. That is wrong. So no, very few of them they are giving to us. So this scholarship, they earmark the money for this Himalayan young people. What we do as a helping hand member, we because we have a penetration deep into the grassroots level organization of these Himalayan states, including Ladakh, Sikkim, Northeast, all our Northeast part. So we say, okay, for this year's UPSC coaching, so for example, we'll get around 3 crore or 4 crore, whatever may be the money. It will be different from different organizations. They give us different amount of money. We say, okay, you keep the money. We will select the candidate. We will not get influenced by anyone. What we do is first, we'll see their class 10 mark sheet, 12 mark sheet, graduation's mark sheet, income certificate. Get it verified from the deputy commissioner of the district.
Area.
Confirmation that whether this particular boy or girl is truly poor or needy or not. Then we select them, bring them here. They get a coaching in top institutions. So that's how, we are catching all those bright, boys and girls who can be leader for tomorrow. I would like to see more Robin Ibu, more Rajni, more successful people in every field. I'm not only asking for Babus only, no.
Yeah.
I want to encourage everybody who is good in football to go over it. So this way, even for commerce, we are just doing that. That is youth empowerment. Third is what we are doing is, we are helping in creating an awareness campaign. Virtually or inherently, people from hills are very, very kind-hearted, very naive, very simple, believe everybody, think world is good. Whereas in city, it's not like that. It's like a Jurassic Park, you know it well.
Yes.
So in order, there has been many cases in the recent past, for many years, many of our people have been wooed, they have been cheated, they have been MOU for business, these, that. So it has created almost a virtual, I would say, what is called massive fraud and cheating, either in your marriage or love affairs or in a business entrepreneurship or what, this and that. So many things are there. So since I'm here as a law enforcement or top officer, so we thought we will create an awareness through social media, because our people, we love gun also, guitar also, and now social media also. So now what we have captured is that now we will intervene in this social media. उनको बताएंगे कि what these are the fraud. City में how people are cheating, how girls are being wooed, how they are manipulating the the record, these, that, so on and so forth. Even the skill training. I'll give a particular example. Like many beautiful girls, generally people from hills are good looking and smart. Whether you might have seen that. So what is happening that now the skill training, this is a racket kind of things going on. Last year, one recruiting agency, they went to Guwahati, Shillong and northeastern part, saying that we will recruit the boys and girls for the for a job in the hospitality sector.
Yeah.
Fine, idea is very good. But what we found, they went there from mainland. I'm not saying they are any other, of course, our own Indian people not from hills. They went there, they had conducted an interview, they selected only the beautiful and tall girls, fair skin, took them to Lucknow. And what they did, they will separate them into a different hotel, these, that, so on and so forth. Took their phone. There was no proper agreement for the, for the pay and this and that, so on and so forth. So no, I'm just giving an example of that. So this kind of awareness is required to our people from the hills. So now I have a helping hand. We have a connected with the Facebook, Instagram, what is called tweets from each state, and whatever awareness we do, we flash it down the line, so everybody knows. Like for example, now my recent what is called analysis on the aerospace from the northeast. The problem they have it there. So that kind of thing has created, people are aware ki dekho, it can happen to you. So that help you to manage your life. That help you to prevent to fall into that honey trap kind of things in the cities. Now you have asked me about the COVID, which has happened now. Look, in the COVID, this pandemic lockdown, what has happened is that, look, I know there was a lot of scheme by the government here and there, but our people had a peculiar problem. So they all started connecting to us. So thousands, lakhs of people are connecting to us. We are the only one helping, and I'm very proudly I can say that we are the only one who is having the volunteers all over the country, as I said earlier. So they started saying, after 1 week, sir, our ration is over. They've been chucked out from the job. Their landlords are asking them to, vacate the house. What to do? And I know, like in Delhi NCR, I have got 7 lakhs plus notice people working in the hospitality sector, in the market, these, that. So all of them have been now found unemployed, no pay. 90% are in the unorganized private sector. So as a result, they were massive problem of after 1 week or 15 days, they had rations for rain, this, that. So they all flooded us with their request, please do something. And many of them are very, very genuine. For example, like who are patients coming from northeastern states and waiting for the medical treatment, so on and so forth. Then we had a brainstorming discussion. Then we started a small way. Anyway, I want to tell you, instead of asking from other, why not I should start myself? So I started my 1 month pay as my first contribution so that I can start the ration for our people. After that, then everybody, I started saying, let us do something. Then many good people, from Delhi, from all over the country, they started, donating rations, this, that. Then we have a good response from the citizen from Delhi. There are many good people who have really, when I told them this is the problem because they can't go back and they cannot avail the government rations, free rations, because they have to show some I-card, ration cards, which many of them, they don't have it.
Yeah.
And then again, they say those who have no ration card, they can apply in that website where it is free for the who have no ration card. When we applied there, I talked to the top people who are managing the commissioner and others. They say waiting list is more than 14 lakhs. Where do they go?
Yeah.
We do respect if tomorrow if any Haryanvi or any Bihari or any Marathi or anybody Punjabi, somebody is here, na.
Yeah.
But if somebody from Ladakh or from Darjeeling, except for here and there, you won't find anybody. From whence you'll ask a ration. So she was left all alone. So then we have no option but to manage internal resources. So I started. Then many people they have come forward. Then there was a good response. So I requested the Delhi Police Commissioner. I was very gracious, set up police force given center in south and north. 20 people, every day, whatever we get, we pack it, rations, dal, rice, flour, even sanitary fed for the girls, It was very heart-touching, a biscuit and other. So we packed that and we started a control room in Safdarjung and in Green Park. Control room means because everybody knows our control room. So they started reaching us through WhatsApp, through SMS, through email. So we had a 24/7, our helping hand volunteers, they're remaining the control room. So every 24 hours we take out a list. They will send their name, address, and some identification, documents, right? Then, of course, we will not blindly believe them because in Delhi, all over Delhi, I have well connected with the local community leaders, their tribal unions, their church leaders, their elders, so on and so forth. We confirm, yes, whether this is, are you really, she's really putting up there, is so and so forth. When we get confirmation, then next morning, 9 a.m., we take out a list. It's around 200, 250. Every day we get 1,000, but we say no. Every day we can't just go and distribute in a rampant way. So what we did, we have a 6 vehicle placed, 3 for south, 3 for north, ready with the map, with the address, with the mobile number. We divide them into zone wise. Send SMS, we are coming to your area at this time, please be ready. My team goes there, call out the name in Munirka or in the Sunlight Colony or a Kirki Extension or in a Amar Colony or in your what is called Burari. Then stand there, make a social distance, give them a ration. So that was something very, very unique experience. But still we are contributing rations, And this is only for, of course, those patients who are poor patients. And we have given ration to the refugee from Burma, from Afghanistan, even to the I won't write this called Hijra, what is called this one, ladies and gents together. No, they are. No, we have given ration to them also. And even we are associated with the UNHCR also. So then, by seeing our good work, we got so much appreciation from Chief Minister like Arunachal Pradesh, Northeast Council, this that. So they also given us some money. Directly we have the liaison with the FCI. So it is one of the gigantic exercise where we could reach out more than 1,07,025 till yesterday. And that is for Delhi. But outside the Delhi, again we did connecting the dot, what Rajni has said. Now, all the IAS, IPS whom I know, along with my volunteers in Mumbai, in Chennai, Bangalore, Jaipur, Calcutta or Bhubaneswar. Apart from that, we have requested and we appointed one IAS or IPS officer in the senior level as a nodal officer for rations during the pandemic. I am happy to tell you, Asim Arun from ADG from UP, this Vineet Wankade from Tamil Nadu as a nodal officer, Kuldeep Ranga, Commissioner Development from Rajasthan, Ombir Singh from Chandigarh, all over the country we had, like our own officer from Arunachal, like Hage Mamung, IAS officer, the DC from, from Goa, Indra Malopre in from Mumbai. So we all chip in together. Every morning within the daily we have a 6 elaborate system of distributing ration. But outside of suppose it is in Mumbai or in Goa, I send the list, address also to that officer. And that officer make sure that through their DM and through their system, they get the rations to them. And we get photograph, signature, and we get so much of appreciation from all those people who have that. And one of the very emotional, I want to tell you is that, look, one lady from my state, Arunachal, Buddhist, she was undergoing a very serious medical ailment in AIIMS. So during lockdown, she was stranded. But after the lockdown was over, through Shramik Express, she went back. So during that time, she is from poor family. She wrote us several times for the rations. We have given her a 6-time ration. But that continued for 1.5 months. So she died in her village in Arunachal. Before she died, she told their family member, in Delhi, I could survive because of the helping and rations. Otherwise, I would not have been able to do it. So like that, we have this is a small, I would say, initiative by our helping hand members. Not only me, all of us have chipped in together. We are doing that.
That's wonderful. So that is such an incredible work that you've done, and I'm so proud that I'm sitting next to you here. So my next question to you would be, we have seen very often that people from Northeast India have been facing a lot of racism around the country. They are not being treated as other Indians are, and especially at the time of Corona, they've been called names. They've been called Corona. They've been called, different kind of names. What do you have to say about that?
Look, this is very unfortunate that these things had happened. And I'm not saying that this should not happen. There are discrimination, of course, even in a family member. I agree that. But when you are in trouble, then again further, putting further owned, already you are injured in such a pandemic time when you are in a distress condition, that's really, I would say, disheartening, and it's really a sinking feeling when we saw that people from our mainland were calling the people from Himalaya, from the northeastern part of India as a Corona, and some of the soap in Bangalore, they didn't allow them to come. They spitted on them in Delhi. They put pan on their body. Of course, we have taken a stringent action. So, as in, this is something I would say aberration of the inhuman aberration. And for this, before condemning, I know it is condemnable, and it is government is very, very strict and clear. There has been repeated direction from the government of India. Even Delhi police has taken extra mile to arrest them, to take legal action, and even reach out to them. We had a meeting. We have police special unit for the Northeast, helpline 1093. Everything is there, but you need to know. Apart from condemnations, what made them to say like that? Is it a mentally sick mentality? Is it the lack of awareness? Is it because we are vulnerable? Or is it because no fear for law? So this is something, it is a very, very complex issue. Apart from very painful, what we have read and what we have heard, is that this is something that we need to learn a lesson as a nation. Because this country is a country of diversity. It's a country of, I would say, universal diversity. Only country in the world where we have so much of diversity. So apart from condemnations, I think we as a society, as a nation, to go ahead for this, our nation, we need to do a very serious introspection. Of course, police and judiciary will take care of its own. That is, procedure will take care. That is there. Having said that, what I am more concerned that is that, look, we need to educate, make aware to our new younger generations, who are we having a small eye. I always say this word, when I was serving in the UN as a police commander, even the British police officer of whom I was the commander there, because he was all the time proud, my dad was a captain in East India companies. Like, so what, now I'm your boss. Anyway, that's apart from that. So you have to, tell them, look, we have to educate them that this diversity is a part and parcel of this India.
Yes.
We have a small eye like me from Himalaya. With a pagri, Bole Sonia Sastragar from Punjab. We have a lungi with Vanakam from Tamil Nadu, Tauji from Haryana.
Yeah.
So, that diversity need to be disseminated through NCRB, through CBSC, through media campaign, through more interface or more visiting of the area, through more exposure in the media of our rich culture and heritage. Even I always say this word, it's not only that people from other part of India, men and have sacrificed during the freedom struggle. हम हमेशा बोलता है, हमारे लोगों ने भी शहादत दी है. हमारे नोटिस वालों ने भी they've given जिंदगी दे दिया. They died and during freedom struggle. I quote this example: 17-year-old girl, Kanak Lata Barua, Kanak Lata from Assam, 17-year-old. She got 7 bullet while during the Quit India movement. From my village, from Arunachal, Matmur Jamo, Britisher under Captain Gregerson came to hoist a British flag. We did not allow them to do that. We have ransacked the British camp. Of course, later on he was captured and taken to Kalapani and other. That is different issue. So my point, what I want to say that this is a lesson that all the viewers need to take, that look, if you need to understand that the India is a land of diversity. इसमें अगर हम जैसे भी है तो आप जैसे भी है. And it's for us, it's not for the government, for the education institution, for the media, for every one of us to accept the diversity and to make aware of the younger generations. If the children knows who are we, then if they visit more to our Northeast people, if they visit to our Northeast region, and if our people also come toward more interface. Actually, I always tell this word, let us learn their language. When you are in Mumbai, learn Marathi. When you are in Tamil Nadu, you learn what is called Tamil. When you are in Punjab, learn Punjabi. When you are in Delhi, learn Hindi or what is called Haryanvi. So, these are the osmosis can help you a lot.
So also, I believe that people who are being discriminated, they also should need to make a voice, because a lot of people, because of their vulnerability, or they feel that they'll get troubled or something, they keep quiet. So I think it is also important for them to take a stand for who they are and stick to it and fight against the odds. I believe that personally.
कहना तो बहुत आसान है, लेकिन करना बहुत ही मुश्किल है. Why I'm saying this word is that, look, for a lonely girl from Sikkim or from Nagaland working in a Noida or in some part in Narayan, what is called Narayanpur, or in what is called Nangloi, all alone, it's very difficult to take stand and say no. Where she has no, I would say, family support, no societal support. She has no one around. You are a stranger. So that, when you have no support behind you, whoever you may be, you will also, anyone will not able to raise their voice. So what is this is what you are saying, yes, they should take stand. And for this answer lies, I believe, anybody from Northeast who is working in Delhi or in any city of the country, they should not keep aloof. They must join the Northeast, some community or some union or some organization, some church member, some group, some this, so that at least they know, yes, we have a member
have
from,
pillars
pillar, so it is behind you. So problem here is also our people, of course, you can't blame them also. Like I know many cases who are working in BPOs, their working time is starts from evening 6, 7 and whole that they are working, then they come back, they have to sleep. So there are so many issues are there on at a ground level. So it's difficult to give a sweeping statement. Yes, having said that, I tell our people, look, you need to know the helpline of the police number. You need to know your state Bhavan's number. You need to know the women's commission member. You need to know that areas who are good people. You need to organize yourself in that locality as a Northeast, whoever it is.
This is exactly
Exactly what I meant by taking
a stand is that you should be aware where to report what.
Exactly. And now the problem is people are not aware of that.
Yes.
Number one, maximum from, I'm from Arunachal. We had I would say most, we know Hindi, Punjabi because of China war and so on and so forth. Otherwise in Nagaland, Mizoram, Manipur, in Meghalaya, they can't speak Hindi. So as a result, वो तो हो ही जाता है ना. आप जा रहा है रिपोर्ट करने जा रहा है, थानेदार बैठा हुआ है, उसको तो अंग्रेजी में बोला, वो तो पूरा का प्योर वो हरियाणवी मिक्सचर में हिंदी में बोला, तो there's a communication gap. So there are so many issues are there. That's what in Delhi police, what we are doing is now is that getting more people from Northeast. Now we have more than 1,000 plus the Northeast girls and boys working in Delhi police. And of course, not only for the Northeast, cosmopolitan people. We are going to Kerala, we are going to Kashmir, we are going to Northeast, we are going to Bangalore, Maharashtra, Gujarat, all over the country. So this is a very, very nebulous issue which need multi-pronged tackling. There is no straight answer कि इसको आप ऐसा कीजिए.
As we have been talking about the youth, sir, I would also like to know why so many people, especially the youths, are migrating to metropolitan cities. Is it because that they are losing hope or what?
This is a universal problem, not only for the Northeast, but yes, because of vulnerability of our people from that part of the world, that makes us more vulnerable once you enter these Jurassic cities, in inverted comma. So that is why I said that. Number one, look, as I said earlier, number one, most of the these migrants are at a lower level, who are semi-skilled and little bit skilled. They are not from the higher echelon of the society, for the top level, either business or in the bureaucracy or in any field. So most of them, 90% are, because we have a record of at least 60-70% record, we are having that. So they are those unemployed youth, either graduate or undergraduate. Somehow they underwent a jiffy so-called skill training, and they've been given with hope that you will get a job in cities, you will make money, you will live in the Mumbai where Amitabh Bachchan is there. All kind of hallucination, false promises by our people and by the men in collusion with them. So that false hallucinated dream through this skill training, inverted comma, this is my observation. So that back home, of course, there's a fact that we have a lot of things to be done. Government is also doing their best, there's no doubt. But still, the unemployment and entrepreneurship skill is, yes, horribly lacking back home. So with that influence of modernity through movie, through TV, through social media, so on and so forth, they come with hope. But that brief spell of training is not sufficient to let them survive in this Jurassic Park.
Yes.
So what they do is that, look, here comes how they are not, their incubation period is not that viable and robust. Like language, they do not know the language of that area. They do not know the culture mooring of that area. Their food habit is different. People from -10 coming to 40 degree in Delhi, do you think that person will be happy?
No.
Something like that, I don't know.
Yes.
So,
That matters.
the number one is that dreamy world, lack of preparations, rushing to the Jurassic Park, that you are land into a completely chaotic situation, number one. Number two, once you land here, apart from very unfortunately like helping, there's no any other civil society where you can also go. Though of course the police are there, government are there, but problem is that we are not able to communicate. You are not able to tell. तुम्हारा दिल की दर्द को आप नहीं बता पा रहा है कि तुम्हें क्या प्रॉब्लम है. अगर if somebody has teased you or somebody has done something wrong, you are not able to communicate. So that all these things have accumulated problem, and as a result, many are committing suicide. They are becoming drug addict. They are becoming depressed. They are so and so forth, and they are pushing toward even some of the profession which they should not be there. And this vulnerability have been exploited by these unscrupulous private companies, sectors who are. Let me quote an example. There are many cases reported to us, to Helping Hand, where the beautiful girl from Northeast are given job only during that when his boss is working. From evening 7 to lunch, and even if the job time is over by 12 p.m., she will call it to every chai banao. Means, there are so many cases. So then, as a result, what happening that you are cut off from your back home. जहाँ पे आपको माँ बाप की प्यार है, चारों ओर आपका भाई बहन है, अपना कल्चर हेरिटेज सब कुछ है, और यहाँ आप आ गए completely new world, heartless world, look it as a symbol. And unfortunately, हमारा उस दुनिया में in that northeastern part of the world, for me, boys and girls is not at all different. Because बचपन से we play together, we eat together, we do everything together. But here in many part of our country, it is not like that. So that all those things make us more vulnerable, more helpless, and many a time more misunderstood society. So what you said is that it is coming out in a very big way, and that is the worrisome for our back home, for our society, even for the mainland also, because we can't allow the vulnerable section of the society to be rushing through like a moth towards the electric bulb. They know you will be committing suicide there by going there. So this is something which is a challenge which we have been raising in the different forum, in the Government of India level, in the planning commissions, in the donor ministry, in the NEC, and I'm sure that now things are being projected and it is being discussed somewhere or other. Many steps are being taken. I'm very optimistic that we have a great potential in the Northeast. I believe once if we have a good communications, I imagine international highway from Arunachal to till Burma, Laos, Cambodia. It will be I would say, the growth main engine for India. Because people from there are hardworking. Generally, most of them are honest, good looking, straightforward, and above all, we look like those South Asian part of the country. Here we are always looking, even if I am a special committee, without uniform, apart from a law, so here, many think me as I must be from China or so and so forth. So there are opportunity, there are problems, but what we need to do is that we need to capitalize on this opportunity, and whatever the problem is there, we need to tackle it not only from a police point of view, but also from a holistic angle. If there's no job, people will start coming. So that is something challenge which new India is facing, and I'm very glad that the new government under our honorable Prime Minister has taken so much of initiative for so much of money plus project for the Northeast to make it more better place to live, to have a more employment generation, so on and so forth.
So at the end, I would like you to please give a message to our viewers.
Only I can say that India is a beautiful country. There are problems. We shall overcome. You need to be very positive in your outlook. There are discrimination, there are problems, there are unemployment, there are pandemic issues. So what? History is the witness. If you have a positivity in your mind, if you have the die-hard spirit of I shall overcome, and if you lead a disciplined and healthy life, no power on earth can stop you. Stop thinking negative things. Jindagi ka dusra naam hai problem. And never ever let it bog down. God has given a beautiful world, beautiful body, beautiful society, beautiful country. It's us who can make a difference. And I want to conclude it with what John F. Kennedy has said to his countrymen, which is very relevant for our present time of our India also. Ask yourself what you can do for your country. Ask not what your country can do for you. Jai Hind.
So it was such a pleasure talking to you and having you with us on our show, Let's Talk. This is a gift hamper from our
Oh,
sponsor,
thank you.
Dionys by Arpita.
Okay.
And
Thank you so much. Thank
another
you.
token of love from the team, Let's Talk.
Okay, ready. Great. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a beautiful.